Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of How's That the Cricket podcast with me, Lily, and Josh.
Hello, everybody.
Now, what a week it has been. The World Cup is over.
Woo! I'm still on a high.
It's look, to be fair, as a dual citizen, I can't be too mad. So growing up in Australia, it was disappointing.
They never win enough.
They're the top team, aren't they? Australia, it just proves they're the number one team in the world, and they have been for quite some time.
Yeah, it's just insane of how balanced they are, and once their stars retire, they'll just have another group of players that just come through and just slot in. And I think I've watched a few videos of the celebrations, and Matty Mott, the Aussie coach, put it perfectly. He's just like, we put our plan in, we executed it, and we are the best. Like, there's no doubt about it. It's very hard to beat them.
Yeah, so it started off with obviously Australia beating the West Indies, and they went straight through to the grand final. But then it was England versus South Africa. Now that game, we'll talk about that quickly, because that game, to be honest, I didn't expect South Africa to lose as bad as they did.
No, me neither, no.
They were all out for 156, which I think was crazy. I knew that once Anya Shrubsole caught and bowled Laura Wolf out for none, that was kind of the point where I went, yeah, maybe England have got this.
Yeah, it's like you said, I didn't expect them as well to be bowled out for the low total that they were. But yeah, if Laura doesn't get going, it's tough for them to get going, because obviously they're missing Dane. Not having her definitely did hurt, because it wasn't always down to Laura, but it was a bit tough after they lost Laura.
Yeah, like no one made over 30, and I think that's where it really struggled, because they couldn't find that solid partnership. Like, they do have a strong batting lineup, but they need to have a good opening partnership to build that ground and really work from that. So after Laura got none and Lizelle got 2, they just struggled to really build that partnership, because they can bat all the way down the order.
Yeah, 100%. No, I do agree with you there.
Look, that was a great game from England, really. Sophie Ecclestone, though, can I just say?
6 for 36. That was incredible.
I feel like player of the match should have been shared, because, yes, getting 100 is amazing, but so is 6 for. And can you believe that it was Sophie Ecclestone's first international 5 for, which I find hard to believe.
Oh, wow. No, I thought she's taken the 5 for before.
Well, that's incredible. The thing. She seems like she has, but she hasn't. So that was actually her first, which I think was amazing. So yeah, that put England through to the grand final, which was always going to be a tough one after the Ashes that has just happened before this World Cup. But look, it was a tough game, because, well, Alyssa Healy did so well, 170 after the dropped catches where they dropped Haynes and Healy really early on in the game. That's the kind of turning point where you just think catches win matches. So.
And that's definitely what the West Indies needed to do.
It was a good grand final, in all honesty. Australia were completely deserving of that win, but Nat Siver.
I was a bit worried, because Charlie Dean was looking really good, and she played that questionable shot. I mean, I don't like the reverse paddle. You could have just pushed it for one. It was just a silly shot, really. Yeah. And I was worried, because she just could have kept going, but they planned for that shot, and I'm sorry to Charlie. She's a fantastic player. She's going to have a long career, but they're kind of a very silly shot in a final.
Yeah. It was, seeing as especially like you want to build that partnership and you wanted to help Nat Siver pull the team over the line. So it would have even just been playing just sensible shots and just turning over those singles and getting Nat back on strike. That would have completely done the job. So look, it's just one of those things, and she's still only young. So you live and you learn on these situations. But if we're completely honest, it shouldn't have been down to the bowlers.
No, exactly.
It should have
100%.
been.
Yeah.
It should have been Nat Siver and Danny Wyatt taking those catches earlier on. That was really what changed the whole course of the match. So look, it was just one of those things, but complete credit to Australia. Really well deserved there. And they are, like we said earlier, the best team in the world. But yeah, what a World Cup it has been. It has definitely been one to remember.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sad it's over. I mean, we won't have another one for a fair while. So, Birmingham Commonwealth Games.
Commonwealth Games. That should be a good one. I'm looking forward to that. But the day that we are recording this on Tuesday, the 5th of April. It is also in the UK, the 100 draft today. So that is probably going to happen while we're asleep. But that should be very exciting. So we'll be posting about that on our socials. And hopefully we get some South Australians picked up. Look, I would love to see Darcy Brown or Talia McGrath or even Megan Shute go over and play in the 100. I think it'd be a great opportunity for these South Aussies to show off what talent South Australia has, because Amanda Wellington's already doing it.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that Talia or Megan go over. Not sure what Megan will do with her young family. Maybe she'll just have some time at home. Yeah, hopefully she goes over because she didn't do it last year, obviously. I wouldn't see why anyone would not want Talia or Megan. So, yeah, it's exciting, the draft. I'm hoping those two go over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, Alyssa Healy has been retained for the Northern Superchargers and Perry has been retained for Birmingham Phoenix. So they're already in the bag there. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other Australians go over as well, because Georgia Redmayne was a replacement player for the Welsh Fire, so she didn't get retained. So it'll be interesting to see if any players like Laura Cummins as well, she was a replacement for the Northern Superchargers. So it'll be interesting to see if people like that get picked up, and Katie Mack as well. So it'll be interesting to see if any of them get picked up for other teams.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like you said, Laura Cummins was a replacement, so maybe some teams will go look at her and say, "Oh, wait a minute, she could offer a lot.
Yeah.
Let's put her in a squad." And fingers crossed that happens to some of them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and we'll be backing Katie Mack because she is our adopted South Australian. So
I'll need to have a close look at the teams this year.
Yeah, we will be following along a lot closer this year, so we will be giving consistent updates with that one as well. But we're coming to a close of the Australian cricket season, aren't we?
Yes, we are. The Sheffield Shield final's done. Congrats to WA. Yep, it's pretty much wrapped up now. I was going to say maybe there's some Sheffield Shield, but no, that's
That's all done. Yeah,
that's all done.
But luckily, with the way that the world works, there is still cricket going on elsewhere. So there will be
we've
lots
still
more...
got a lot to watch. And the T20 against Pakistan, only one starts tonight. Unfortunately, I will not be watching it. It's at 2 a.m.
Yeah, so we're pretty out of those ones, aren't we? But yeah, look, it's been a fun summer of Australian cricket, hasn't it? And we have got a guest this week.
Yes, we have.
So we talked to Wes Agar, who is an Adelaide striker fast bowler, South Australian fast bowler, and also had a little bit of a mix in with the Australian group back in July last year. So it was really good fun talking to Wes, wasn't it?
Oh, honestly, he was so awesome. We've been following him for a while, so he was fantastic. And poor guy, he had COVID while he was talking to us.
He was. So he is a bit croaky, but that did not stop him in telling us his entire cricket story, which we are very grateful for.
It was fantastic to talk to him about what he went through during the season.
For those who don't know, Wes actually, he kind of just disappeared halfway through the Big Bash season, and even we didn't know. It was not mentioned on commentary. It wasn't mentioned on social media. We had absolutely no idea where he disappeared to.
Redbacks didn't say anything.
Yeah, so we took this opportunity to ask him what happened, and he explained it pretty well. So yeah, we talked to Wes about that, where he went, what happened, and we also talked to him about what it was like to play alongside his brother in his Australian debut, and how he felt when he got that call up. So we hope you enjoy our interview with Wes Agar.
Oh, that could be close. And given Agar continues his magnificent Big Bash form, and he'll be very happy getting Marnus Labuschagne.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Getting there. COVID. I have COVID at the moment, so it's got me pretty good.
We did see the Instagram, but we were unsure whether you were just still didn't have it yet or what was happening. So
they have it. Yeah, me and Lloyd Pope have it. So he's moved into my place, but he's asleep, so I'm outside at the moment doing this.
At least you have a COVID roommate, though. That probably makes it a bit easier.
he said basically when he got it, I said, well, may as well just come up to my place and enjoy the week. So we sat in our beds for about 4 days, and then 3 days we've all been feeling better. So it's been good.
That's good. So you're getting out of the worst part. That's good.
Yeah, pretty bad. I literally was I had shivers, the shakes, the lot.
Oh.
Lost all my taste and smell, so couldn't taste, couldn't smell anything. But I got it all back yesterday and feel $1 million. I just still don't have my voice back yet.
You sound all right.
Yeah. I guess we'll just get started, really. So can you just go right from the very beginning and tell us how you first started playing cricket?
Yeah, well, I guess I grew up in Melbourne and I have 2 older brothers, William and Ashton. And for me, I started playing cricket with them. My dad loved the game, and I guess we caught the love from him. And having 2 older brothers, you sort of have the perfect balance of a batter, a bowler, and a fielder. So we just spent so much time in the backyard, the front yard, indoors. I think Mum is the most patient woman in the world because TVs were broken, chairs were broken, things were broken indoors when we'd play, windows had smashed. But that's where I grew the love of the game. And I went from there. I went to playing for a junior club called McKinnon Cricket Club. Played all my junior cricket there in Melbourne. And then I saw my brother Ashton play for a Premier Cricket club called Richmond. And I was down watching him play one day, and they were running low on players in their 4th grade. And they said, Wes, can you fill in for us this game? And I said, no worries. So I think I stole a pair of Asher spikes, got some whites on, went down and played in the 4th grade Premier Cricket and did really well and played senior cricket ever since then. And so that's sort of my journey, basically. And when I got to 18 years old, I was at a bit of a fork in the road and I wanted to enhance my career and I wanted to really give cricket a shot. So I said moving over to SA would probably be the best bet to try and make something work in my career while I still had another year of the under-19 championships to show myself and get my name out there. And I made the move over here and I was lucky enough to have people who helped me along this journey. And yeah, now here I am.
Yeah, well, it seems like a pretty good choice there that you made to move over. Who were your cricket inspirations growing up?
Yeah, it's a good question. I had many. Obviously, being a fast bowler, I love fast bowlers. Anyone that bowls fast, big boys that just bowl fast and heavy ball, and they just seem to be tough characters. And I gravitated towards that, and I wanted to be like that when I was growing up. So I looked at blokes like Brett Lee, Sean Tate, Shao Bakhtar were probably my 3. With Shao Bakhtar probably being number 1. He was the best. I watched him and I can still remember to this day, I used to running across the driveway at home, my arms flaying by my side, like trying to look exactly like him. So I think he was my idol. And then I had a really strange one. I went through a stage where I was obsessed with Andy Bickle. And I don't know why. To this day, I still don't know why. I just must have loved how about it or the way he bowled. But I loved watching Andy Bickle bowl as well. So he was probably one of them as well.
No, Andy was a fantastic fast bowler. Definitely not a weird one there. He was just fantastic. And I think he had his own style. So yeah, a good gravitational pull towards him. Nah, definitely.
100%. The boys always talk about older players, and you always meet older players when you're around the group and stuff. And everyone talks about him being the greatest person, just such a great bloke. And I think he was 12th man a lot, but they say he was 12th man a lot because he was just a great person. And then when he'd get his chance and he'd do well, everyone was happy for him. So that sort of validated my, I guess, my young intuition of supporting him and sticking by him.
No, that's great.
Obviously, you said that you always looked up to the faster bowlers, and Ashton is a spinner. So were you ever about the spin or were you always just the fast bowler? And where did that kind of differentiate between the 2 of you there?
Well, I guess both my brothers as well are good batsmen. So as you've seen, I'm not the greatest batsman in the world. So I think in the front yard, I had to work out a way to to get them out. So for me, when we were playing in the driveway, bowl and spin isn't too much help. So I thought I have to bowl as fast as I can and try and actually get through them with pace so I can have a bat. Otherwise, I'd be bowling for hours. And so I think that's why I became a fast bowler, to try and get them out first, and then my love grew from there.
I mean, look, that is that is completely fair enough. I mean, it sounds like you just have such a bit of like a rivalry that's just been growing ever since you were young. So what was it like to play against Ashton when you came to the higher levels of cricket? What was that like?
Yeah, we are competitive, but we do have a rivalry, but we are so close as a family. Our family, mum's always taught us the values of sticking together and being really tight, and me and my brothers are that. So when we do play against each other, it's actually a strange one. You know, you speak to most people and they go, oh, I just wanted to bounce him or do whatever. But he's very protective of me as a younger brother. So I guess he always wants to see me do well. But I sort of want the same. But when I'm bowling at him, it's the bragging rights, I think. It's I got you out in this, or you got me out of here. So the first time I played against him, it was quite nerve-wracking because I think it was only my third BBL game. At the Wacker, they call it the Furnace. There's about 20,000 people packed that stadium, and it was sold out, but it felt like 100,000 were in there. You sort of sit a little bit below the stands in the ground, so you feel like you're in this play arena and everyone at you. So it was a daunting experience, but one I really cherish, and I've played against him multiple times since then, and luckily enough got him out a few as well.
Yeah, I guess that's why they call it the Furnace. Yeah, because you're right, it does. Yeah, the levels are down. So yeah, I've never heard anyone say it like that. So that's definitely a good example of that.
Probably before, now they play it up the stadium, which is still loud, but the Wacker was probably the most intimidating place to play when the crowds were there pre-COVID times, because like I said, it didn't take many people to sell it out. And those WA supporters are passionate, and they do anything to see their side win.
Yeah, and having a crowd like that and it being so loud, it would have probably made things 10 times more nerve-wracking than it would have been playing with, half the crowd there, especially being such an important game as well.
Yeah, definitely. It made it pretty scary. What was great though was my mum got to come up and watch. Obviously, being from Melbourne, she doesn't get to see too many of our games. So Ma came up and watched, and I think Fox Sports got her on the ground for an interview after play, which was quite funny.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I remember watching that.
I think she'd had few too many champagnes.
Yeah.
So after the game, do you speak to each other much, or do you do anything like that?
Yeah, we do, definitely. We probably spend a lot of time when you travel, you sort of travel in 2 days before the game, have a rest day that day you travel in, and then the next day you've got like a light training session, and then you got game day. So you got a lot of time in your hotel room or not doing much. And when I travel to WA, I always give Ash a call, and he usually picks me up and we go over to his house, and I usually even spend nights at his house before the game. And we go to the beach in the morning because he loves the beach and stuff, and I drive into the game with him. So it's good. I spend a lot of time with him and him with me when we're in different when we're playing against each other. But then once you get on the field, it's all systems go. So yeah, that's a pretty funny one where you're driving in with your brother who's in the opposition team, past with all your on it.
Yeah. Do you compare and trade notes, or are you very secretive of each other's teams?
No, that's the line. I think got to be careful and talk about each other's games, but no one wants to put their team in jeopardy.
No.
Very respectful of that, and I'm respectful of that too. So no, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Don't give away the secrets.
No, so on that, how was it to have Ashton present you your Aussie cap? How special was that?
Yeah, it was probably looking back at it now, it's probably the greatest moment of my life, or one of. I guess as a kid, you grow up, you dream of playing for your country. And I guess for me, I've never really looked at myself and thought that I was good enough to do that. I've always worked hard for what I've got, and just accepted and was happy with where I was, and just wanted to get better. And I guess even being there, I was looking around at bowlers like Mitchell Stark. I was looking at bowlers like Josh Hazlewood, and I was like, I'm standing alongside you guys, but you're still my idols. Like, it was a feeling. So to get presented that cup and to get recognised as an Australian player, and now have my one-day number that no one could take away from me, it's an amazing moment. There was a lot of hidden personal messages in that speech that he did, which really hit home. And I guess I've looked back on it 20, 30, 40 times, and I guess it still brings a tear to my eye watching it and listening to the way he crafted that speech, because like I said, there was a lot more hidden messages in it than what people think.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a very emotional moment for everybody watching it. So let alone you knowing all these little things that other people don't know. That must have been the real extra special moment there. So kind of going back to the start of your striker's career. So you've been in that squad for quite a long time now. So do you remember what it was like when you played your first ever couple of strikers games?
Yeah, I was 19 at the time, and it was my first year on contract, and we flew over to Melbourne, and I sort of thought I might play. I thought I might not. I wasn't sure. And as a young, confident player, sort of like, oh yeah, I reckon I'll get a game here. And sure enough, yeah, I got given the nod to play, and it was really exciting. I guess that was pre-COVID time. So growing up in Melbourne, you dream of playing on the MCG, and I'd never played there before. So got to run out on the MCG with my family, all my friends watching. People I didn't even know that I went to school with were there. So yeah, it was really cool. And then I think reality hit, and the sensation of you are playing in front of millions of people viewing on TV at the ground all around the world, and you open the bowling in your debut and you bowl 3 wides down leg, your first 3 balls, and all of it. Reality sinks in and the nerves set in. And yeah, it was a really hard learning curve for me. My first few games, I think I went 3 overs, none for 40 that game, and Ben Hilfenhaus hit me for 30 off the second last over, and they got over the line. So I felt like I brought the team down. And then I played again the next game at Adelaide Oval, and same thing happened. And then I didn't play again for a year. And yeah, it's a really testing time when you're young, when you don't do great. Like, everybody comes into a side and they think of all the great things, and when it doesn't go right, it was a really hard learning curve. And I remember sitting in the change rooms very flat with myself, and Kieran Pollard was actually there, and he always said to me, he goes, this is a great time to learn these lessons now. He goes, you're young. He goes, you got so much career ahead of you, and even though you don't think you're right now. And he goes, now you're going through these hard lessons. When you get them when you're older, they're going to be a piece of cake. And I didn't understand it at the time, but now, being through some ups and downs and being through a 7-year career with the Strikers, it's really hit home how much those words meant and how true they were. Because I go through a hard time now, and I go, you know what, I've got through it before, I'll get through it again. And you can sort of leave it at the back of your mind and don't have to worry about it.
That's great advice for any younger cricketer as well, just starting out. Like, I've seen kids just get down on themselves, and that's just fantastic advice, just to don't worry about it. You've got a future ahead of you, and take this as learning. And no, that's fantastic.
Yeah, well, I guess I finished those 2 seasons, and I came in, I think it was my 4th or 5th season, and I came in against the Melbourne Stars, and I played 3 seasons, 4 games, haven't taken a wicket. And I said, I was questioning myself, and I think Cricket Australia put an article out about me saying I bowled so many balls, gone for so many runs, having an average of, I think it was like 200 or something, and haven't taken a wicket. And it really struck a man. And I went through a drive through the hills, which I love. Obviously, got a house up here now, and I played my country music. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm still living a pretty good life at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. And I said to my manager, I said, no matter what happens tonight, no matter what over, no matter how many runs I go for, if I'm just going to finish the over and be grateful for where I am and look around at the crowd and go, how good's this? And I think my first over again went for 15, and I struggled to do it. And I turned around to the crowd and I said, nah, you know what? How good's this? I'm here. I'm not. And it stopped me thinking about the what ifs. And I think my next 3 overs, I got 2 for 8. So, yeah, it was really good.
It paid off sticking with it, because in BBL 9 and 10, those 2 years are really where you stood up and really had your breakout seasons. You won many awards over the course of those 2 years, the Bradman Young Cricketer, the Neil Dancy Award. And then you were also lead wicket taker in BBL 10 for a long period of time, and then ended up second and made team of the tournament. So all of that, what was that like to kind of get that recognition in a positive way?
Yeah, it was a great year, honestly. I think for me it was a big thing because I'd moved back to Victoria 2 seasons prior, because just due to personal reasons, and I made the decision to move back to South Australia that year. And to come into a squad that you've moved away from and come back to, I felt a lot of pressure to pull my finger out and do well for them. And yeah, I guess at the time, you sort of just ride the wave. You just sort of go with it and ride it and take what happens when it comes. And looking back now, it was the best time of my life. Like, it was some of the greatest things I'd experienced, going to the Allan Border Medal, going to different award nights and accepting these awards and having people acknowledge your cricket skills was unbelievable. So, no, I look back on those days and, yeah, I want to replicate them, because I want to win another Danzy, and I want to be in the BBL Team of the Year again. But no, it was just a great learning curve and a great realisation that, yep, I am good enough to play at this level, and I am good enough to really push to play at the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was quite over the media that you'd just kind of appeared and you'd suddenly taken the tournament by storm, really. Yeah. And then after that was when you got selected to go over and play for Australia. So that must have been, I guess, the cherry on top, really, for thinking you've had such a good season, and that's possibly one of the reasons why you got picked. So what was that like as well?
Yeah, it was great. I remember having a conversation with my brother before he got married, and he said, because I originally missed out on the Australian squad and I was on standby for the New Zealand tour, that Big Bash, but didn't go. And then, yeah, I didn't get a call or anything. And he goes, did you even get a call? And I said, no. And I said to him, to be honest with you, I don't think I'm ready to play for Australia yet. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I've done well, but I've got to work out how I'm doing well. I don't really know why yet. I'm just a kid running in and bowling, and enjoying it, and it's happening. And I think the best players know why they're doing well and can replicate it on a click of the fingers type basis. So he was like, oh, that's fair enough. And I got back home after the wedding, and I was on a run, and I was running, and I saw a phone call from George Bailey, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I couldn't answer the run, and with Lloyd Pope, actually, my housemate at the moment. And I finished the run and I called him back, and I was in a huff and a pant. And he said, how you going? I said, sorry, mate, I missed your call. I was out on a run. He goes, oh, that old saying, hey, oldest trick in the book tells you out on a run. So he had a bit of a laugh and told me, got a few boys that have some COVID fatigue. So you're on standby. And he goes, worst case scenario, you come up to a training camp in Brisbane, we get you ready to bowl and you're ready for the season at home. Best case scenario, you come up to the Brisbane, you train hard, you're bowling, and you're on a plane to the West Indies. And I reckon it was I went up to this training camp, I came back, and a day later I got a call from Trevor Hones, and he said, you got a seat on the plane. And It, that I was with my manager at the time, the one person who's been there in Adelaide with me through it all. And I just left his office and I ran up there and I gave him the biggest hug. And I think I was crying. I was just the happiest man in the world. So no, it was a bit of a whirlwind 2 years leading in. And then I think the selection and the way I got picked sort of resonated with the way it's all happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just all so sudden, and it was probably one of those ones where you just couldn't quite believe it in the moment because it's all just happening so fast.
I called Mum and I couldn't put it into words. I said, "Mum, I'm in." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm in," and I was in tears. She goes, "You're in what?" And then it clicked with her, and she just started crying, and she was like, "Oh my God." I told Dad, and Dad was you beauty. He was the happiest man. I was over the moon.
And I'd assume that not much family could have gone over to the West Indies because of COVID. Would I be right in saying that not many people had their family over there?
No one did. No one had their family ever.
So,
I was
you never.
It was amazing to be able to experience it with a family member.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tears. I tell you, I'm actually, this is a bit of a persona. There's an emotional man behind here, but I remember when I got told I was going to play my debut, I'd been through a lot to get there. I've been through a lot in my life to play cricket and to love it and to go through a lot of challenges, I guess. And my family has seen me deal with those challenges, and I guess Ash has been there through them all as well. So yeah, when I did get told I got picked, we got back into my hotel room, and yeah, the emotion flooded out of me. I think I just held him, I just hugged him and held him, and I was just tears flew out of me, and the emotion and just the pure hard work, sweat, tears that you go through to get there just hit me, and I realized that I was there, and it was that's other than getting my cap, that's one of the big moments I reckon that I will always remember, is that embrace that we had as brothers, and to know I had a family member there was pretty incredible for me.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's considering no one else had their family, it would have been very tough. And you to have Ashton there, that's fantastic. You were there for his test debut as well. Little Wes sitting in the stands, I remember.
Floral shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that like, being there for Ashton's debut compared to having your debut?
Well, I think Ashton's debut is the reason I really wanted to play cricket. I loved my footy growing up originally. I loved footy more than cricket, if anything. And I was playing just like local seniors footy in Melbourne and really enjoying it and not really caring too much about sport, just doing well and enjoying it. And anyway, I went and saw Ash play, and I think for me, I looked up to professional athletes as superheroes. And I've said it a lot of times before in the media. And I looked at these guys and I was like, these guys are superheroes. Like, no, not anyone can do this. Like, you have to be special. You look at them, they're 6 foot a billion. They're bloody built. They're so strong. They're huge. You're looking up at them like this is a kid. So to see a brother that you've grown up with do it made it all real for me. And I went, hang on a second, I can actually do that. And I think that was the big realization for me. And it kickstarted my want to be around that, and my want to want that fame, to want that, to walk into a ground and have people with your name on a sign, and to walk around and have people hearing your name and kids calling out, asking for your autograph. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but I really cherish those moments, and I really relish in that environment.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think a specific sign definitely did help you at the Strikers as well.
My favourite sign, I always know that whenever I go into the Adelaide Oval, I'll have the Harvey girls there with the sign. Actually, to their credit, they've always been there from the start. They always waved. They always had something to say, and hopefully I've repaid them with a couple of shirts at end of seasons, and now Bill on this podcast. It's been so great.
Oh, absolutely. And look, I mean, hearing that from you makes us feel like that's why we love to do it, you know, because it's good to know that it's appreciated.
No, it is.
But I mean, look, Viola, I'm gonna throw her under the bus a bit here. Viola still has your shoe up in her room that you signed for her. And someone undid the shoelace and she was not happy because she was yeah.
Oh no.
She was not happy. There was a few tears that night. She probably won't be too impressed with me saying that. But
Sorry, I only had a couple of training shirts left because it's like socks. When you put socks in the washing machine, you put them in and only one comes out type situation. And during Big Bash, you're living out of suitcases. You're here, there, everywhere. By the end of the season, one shirt and one pair of shorts by the end of it. So I didn't have much, and I threw 2 shirts to Lily and her sisters, and then unfortunately Violet didn't get anything. So I scrambled around looking. I said, "Nah, I'll give her a shoe." So I signed the shoe.
Yeah, I mean, look, and it's the little things.
Yeah,
it's the little things. Yeah. Like I said, we do really appreciate. So on the topic of still playing for Australia, you obviously went in as a bowler and ended up coming out with the second highest score in Australia, number 10. So what was going through your mind?
Not number 11, number 10.
Yeah, number 10, 11.
I still bat now and think, how did I do that? I don't think, you guys know watching it, I don't think I've ever got inside the line of a fast bowler in my career. And I do it multiple times this game. No, it was literally, we batted first. We had a shocking start. I think we were 6 for 150 or something like that, or less maybe. And I remember JL was sitting there padded up, and JL looked at me. He's like, "Mate, no better place to have a centre wicket." He goes, "No better place to have a net out there on the ground." You know, I think he was just trying to, as a coach, trying to calm me down and allow me to, because he said, "You just got to bat the time, bat the overs out, and we get what we get." So I went out there. I think Matthew Way got caught in the ring, and I went out there with Adam Zampa, and he's a very chilled out cat as well. So he just looked at me, and I looked at him, and he's like, "All good?" And I was like, "Yeah, all good." So went down to the other end and just started batting, I guess, and had a centre wicket. And the more I got into the game, the more I wasn't thinking about much. I was just thinking about, like, what could I do? How can I score? And I guess Jason Holder came on, and there was a shot I played. I think I flicked it off stump over backward square for 6. That was something that no one really ever does, and I did it amazingly. I don't know how. But he has an incredible bounce. Like, he bowls the ball from so high. I just struggled to hit him anywhere because you're playing the ball off the front foot, coming past your ribs. So for me, I was like, how am I going to score? And the only way I thought I was going to score was get inside the ball and hit it on the up as it was coming past me. So as the ball's coming up there, I was going to try and help it on its way. And funnily enough, he bowled a Yorker, that ball. And so I had to adjust and hit it square. So I think JL said to Alex Carey, well, he goes, "I didn't realise he could bat like this." And Alex Carey turned around to JL and he said, he can't. That. So it's a moment that I really enjoy, and I'm really glad that I was able to, even though I couldn't get a wicket, I could contribute in some way.
Yeah. Were you a little bit disappointed that you were 9 runs off a half century there?
I was, but I think I was batting with Riley Meredith at the time, and like I said, you weren't thinking, you were just trying to work out ways to score. And I was unlucky enough to get out. But the thing that hurt me the most was at that number, the person that holds the record is my coach now, Dizzy Gillespie, and we have a good relationship. So I messaged him and I said, "Mate, you still got me," which was fun.
I mean, look, you've still got a chance to beat that score, and he hasn't. So you know what? It's
exactly.
Not entirely over yet.
Well said. Very true.
Wes has still got a chance to beat the 201. So
Now I guess we'll talk about the New Year's Eve games at Adelaide Oval. So
Yeah,
this is probably what Adelaide's known for, what Adelaide cricket is known for, the New Year's
yeah,
Eve
pretty
games.
much.
So pre-COVID, with the sold out crowds, what is it like to walk out in front of 50,000 people in those games?
Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's honestly one of the best feelings in the world. I don't know about you, Lil, or Josh, but when I was a kid, I had these dreams of playing cricket at the top level, or even footy for that matter. And you'd be walking out to the ground and you'd be looking around and everything felt huge. And then before you face your first ball or something, you'd wake up and you'd be like, go back to sleep,
Yeah.
so you could get that dream back. But the only way I can describe it is that's exactly what it is like. You know, you walk out on the ground and it's exactly the same as the dreams. And when you face up to bat, it's like, this is the exact same. And I think it's an incredible feeling that you can take for granted sometimes, but I try every time. I don't know, whenever I walk out, I do a circle and just look at the ground and just think, how good's this? So yeah, it's one of the most, when Adelaide Oval is packed, it's so loud and incredible feelings. It's honestly one of the best feelings in the world.
Do you feel, I guess, a bit more pressure playing in a New Year's Eve game than a regular Strikers game? Because it is such an event and the way that people spend their New Year's.
Yeah, I do. You do feel pressure. I personally, in my cricket development in my years now, after we spoke about before with that chat with Kieran Pollard, I guess I try not to really think about pressure. I have a thing where I've spoken about it before in the media, where I am open to whatever happens. So my outlook on cricket is, when I go in, I'm just reacting and allowing myself to be open and completely engaged. But having said that, yes, there's a lot more pressure that's on stake. There's a lot more people. Some people, if they love Strikers enough, if we lose that game, their New Year's is ruined. So we know that we can control some people's like proper happiness in that moment, and we don't take that lightly. And we want to win games for South Australians most of all.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones where we go to every New Year's Eve game. That's how we love to spend our New Year. And even if the Strikers don't win, it's still just being in that moment. And I think for some people it could, like you said, could ruin their New Year. But for a lot of people, I think it's really just being there and being able to experience that and see out the New Year with a cricket game is, I couldn't imagine anything better.
Yeah, I think it's like the Big Bash version of an Anzac Day clash, or that version of a final. You know, like everything's just heightened. The atmosphere's heightened. It feels like the noises around the crowd is heightened, and the way the players plays on this higher level, because everyone looks forward to the New Year's Eve game. So no, it is. It's a very special game on the calendar.
Yeah, I haven't been to other BBL games around Australia, but I feel like we've just got the best atmosphere, just fantastic match day atmosphere, and that's where I look forward to every time we go to a game. And what Lily said, no matter what the result is, we just love going there. And I mean, we've got the best fans.
Yeah.
We've got the best MC as well. And
we do.
Yeah, what we put on after the New Year's, the fireworks, it's just fantastic.
It is. It's so good. I guess, Adelaide Oval is such a great place to play. Like, I think the Oval is designed to double noise that's made inside it with those big sort of semi-oval shape grandstands. So when you're out there and you take a wicket, it's like someone gets the volume and just slowly starts turning it up and it zooms in on you. It's incredible. But yeah, like you said, we got a great MC as well, who not only is an MC, but he builds personal relationships with the players as well. He knows us on a better level. He knows us on a level. He knows that he'd know about me. He'd know I'd have two brothers. He knows I love the Hills. He knows things about you. So when he wants to do an interview with you, you're doing it with your mate, not just some random. So he's so good at his job as well.
Absolutely. Now, is Adelaide Oval your favourite ground to play at, or do you have another favourite?
100%. Adelaide Oval is my all-time favourite ground to play at. The crowd and the way you're supported there is incredible. There's nothing like the feeling rolling in game day, driving in, got your music blasting, then you have the fans at the gate and you walk through and you get into the rooms. And I always love just getting out on the ground and kicking the footy early, out in the ground, and just seeing everyone rolling in is so cool. And yeah, there's not many stadiums in the world where you have a big grassy bank, but you also have a huge grandstand standing over the top of you at the other end. So no, I love Adelaide Oval, and it's definitely my favourite ground to play at.
As a player, when you're out there, the grandstands, does it feel quite close, or does it feel like quite fans are right there?
Yeah, I think the southern stand, especially when that's New Year's Eve game, when that's packed, it feels like they're almost on top of you. But yeah, I guess you get lost in it sometimes. You get lost out there, and as much as I say it's loud and stuff, I'm contradicting myself here, but it's actually, it can be eerily quiet as well, because you've got all these people in the stands, but it's just you and 12 other players out in that oval. So it can almost feel like you're really alone out there at the same time as well, because you're in this big arena standing on this huge space by yourself with your teammates. So it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah. Now, this BBL season, we didn't see much of you, and it was very disappointing from a viewer perspective. So can you talk to us a little bit about why we didn't see much?
This season was a really hard season for me, I guess. I had a lot of ups and downs, and coming back from Australian duties, you feel, like I said, you feel like you have to perform a lot more. For me, I played my second game at Adelaide Oval and I was man of the match. So felt like I was doing my job, and unfortunately after that I got subbed out of a game in Sydney against Scorchers, and I didn't play the game after that, and I was sort of in and out of the side, and I wasn't sure why. But then towards the back half of the year, I got off the plane and I started finally to string some games together. I think I played 4 in a row. I was doing okay, and I tore my side on my body. So I tore my transverse abdominal, where it attaches onto your side, at a training session. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. I said to the physio, I just felt a little pinch in my side there. Like, you reckon I'll be all right? We were playing the Stars the next day. And he was like, yeah, it seems okay. Like, just let me know in the morning at the hotel. And went from there, and I went to bed that night, and I woke up in the morning and went to sneeze, and the whole side of my body just ached. And yeah, it was a classic side strain, and I was out for 5 to 6 weeks, they said. So that was going to be my Big Bash tournament over. So due to COVID protocols and whatnot, I flew home, and that was my Big Bash season over. And then I pushed really hard to get back. I thought I was bowling well, and I went to bowl again in the nets and tore it again. So I had another 5 weeks on the sidelines doing a lot of rehab, a lot of hard work. And then finally got back, and it was last Tuesday I played my first game back since that game. So we're talking 3 months or 2.5 months since Big Bash. And you think back to Big Bash now and you go, how long ago is that? Well, think about not being able to bowl one ball, and that's my job, is to bowl cricket balls through that time. So first game back, played it on Tuesday, and I was bowling, and I bowled my 12th over in a practice game for the Redbacks, and I was feeling really tired and fatigued. Spoke to physio, and he said, maybe get a rat test on the way home, and did a rat test, and turns out I got COVID-19. So my season's been plagued by injury and illness this year, and it's probably been the reason why I haven't played, because, yeah, again, before Big Bash started, I didn't play many games for the Redbacks either, and that was because I'd torn my quad. My left quad I tore at the start of the season as well. So it's been one of those years where I've been pretty plagued by injury. and it's correlated in me not playing a lot of games. And trust me, I'm just as disappointed as the fans that I'm not playing. I'm doing everything I can to be back there playing next year.
How's the recovery stuff and everything feeling now?
Yeah, really good, really good. Like I said, I bowled on the Tuesday and I bowled really well. My numbers were great, and I didn't have any pain. So I'm gonna obviously I haven't played much cricket this year, so I'm gonna head up to Darwin in the off season. I'm gonna play a thing called Strike League up there, which would be fantastic to get cricket in, and hopefully it kickstarts my season to next year.
Yeah, that's good to get, like you said, that bit of preseason, I guess, to get back to where you were, because like I said, it was so disappointing to see you do so well the season before and then to barely see you this season. It was very much and it wasn't spoken about at all. Like, we were listening in to the commentators and we had no idea what was going on. So it was
yeah, right.
It was a strange one, and we're like, oh no, what's happened? Like, is it something really bad or what's going on? So
no, it was injury. Luckily enough, I know a lot of people have missed cricket and missed games due to mental illness and stuff like that, and I'm grateful that wasn't the case with me. It's just my body wasn't allowing me to do the things I wanted to do at the time.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. You're all, like I said, we're all back next season.
Absolutely.
So what's the next step for you, would you say? What are your aspirations for the future and what are you aiming for now?
It's a really interesting question, that one, because there's so much going on in my life, I guess, at the moment. I think for me, first and foremost, I want to be the best cricketer I can be. Like I said, I've never seen myself as a person that's, you look at them and you go, he's an Australian cricketer. You know, I really want to work hard, and I want to see how high my ceiling can be in terms of my cricket capabilities and what I can achieve. And then in life, I guess, I've just got a place up in Bridgewater now, and it's really putting time and effort into this house, trying to establish a life here in SA, which is a place I love, a place I want to spend the rest of my life here. So life for me is pretty cruisy around the house at the moment and enjoying that. But I guess if I look after cricket, I haven't really thought about it too much yet. 25 and just enjoying the journey. But yeah, I guess I haven't really looked too far past that. But I think it's just making sure that I always keep in contact with my family. Like I said, we're so close. I've got a beautiful girlfriend who is a really great support for me, and has been there for me through some pretty tough times. So I'm really grateful that I've got her in SA here as well. And I've got some really good mates around me, and I'm starting to establish a life here up in the hills. So no, I think it's just, for me, it's seeing how high my ceilings can go, my career capabilities, and trying to be the best person I can off field.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, hopefully that means that you stick around and the Strikers can keep you around.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I don't know what we'd do if we saw you walk out with like a green shirt on there.
Or even an orange. Oh.
Yeah, orange. Yeah. Or I don't know about the orange.
I know you said, Lily, about the Strikers' career, but hopefully you have a good career with the Redbacks as well. Wes, we'd love to see you back bowling for the Redbacks. I definitely missed it watching you bowl for the Redbacks, actually, because you provided so much.
I think it's something I really want to do is enhance my red ball career. I'm known for my white ball skills, but 2 years ago I was second leading wicket taker in the Shield season, in the Sheffield Shield as well. So I believe in myself in the red ball format, and I haven't given up on it just yet. So I will. I'm going to keep pushing for that as well.
Yeah,
it's good to hear.
Yeah. So what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received from a cricketer? I know you might say that Kieran Pollard one, but yeah.
I've got a few, I reckon. But it's hard to choose from. I think a really great one is actually, everyone would have heard it from my brother in my cap presentation for Australia. He goes, there's going to be times out there when you're doubting yourself and you're in a challenging time. And he says, he told me to look at it and say, what if it goes great? And I think that's a really good way to look at cricket in that perspective of everyone can get nervous and go, what if I stuff up? What if I bowl a bad ball? He always is an advocate for looking at things and say, well, what if it goes awesome? What if it goes perfect? What if it goes great? So I think that's a great piece of advice that I got, especially for more senior players who are dealing with pressure and haven't got that childhood naivety of just running out and playing and enjoying the game. And I think that leads me on to my second bit of advice. And it's been said a lot and it can be cliche, but I think it can really make your cricket better just by mindset, and that is have fun. Honestly, enjoy what you're doing, regardless of results. If you're enjoying what you're doing, more likely than not, you're going to be successful at it. And what's another one? One that I've taken with me. Well, I'm not sure. I think for me personally, I don't think too much. I go out there and I'm playing, and the less I think, the better about it. So, yeah, like I said, for me, it's just trusting my gut, trusting my intuition, trusting my heart on what I want to do, because I've played this game now for nearly 20 years. I've played it for a long time, and I love it, and I know a lot more than what I think about it. So just trust what I do. But yeah, if I had any advice for people going through is look at situations in a positive way and really enjoy what you're doing, and you'll be successful.
Yeah,
that's good. That's fun.
Yeah, very good to hear. So do you have, aside from maybe Ashton giving you your hat, do you have another favourite cricket memory, one that sticks around with you?
Yeah, I guess for me it's playing front yard cricket with my brothers. That's probably the greatest memory I have of cricket, is getting home from school, throwing my school bag down. Don't listen to this if you're still in school, but I tell you what, I didn't do much homework. We played in the front yard for so many years, and I guess I moved out of home when I was 18 to South Australia, and Ash did the same thing, and we had so many years playing in that front yard, and I miss it to this day now because it's been so long since those times. But that is the greatest memory and one of the greatest times of my life, when you have two best mates that are also brothers, and you can all play together in the front yard. And yeah, that's probably my fondest memories of playing cricket. And also receiving my my baggy red for South Australia was a really important moment for me. Like I said, I moved back and from Victoria, and I got picked in that game, and that was a massive milestone for me. So that was a great moment in my career, and then obviously watching my brother do what he does on a yearly, monthly, weekly basis in the Australian colours. He's a superstar, and he's so talented, and it makes me so proud to watch him do what he does, and watch the pride that he puts on mum and dad and me and Will's faces is so great. And he's so humble, and I'm so happy watching him play and reach the heights that he's reaching.
Yeah.
And I know we talk about you and Ashton a lot, but does Will still play cricket?
Will doesn't play cricket anymore, actually. He was a gun cricketer. He was a left-hand opening bat. But life took its course. He's one of the smartest blokes I've ever met, and I think nowadays he's working in a really great job, and earning good money. So life took its course there, and he's, to his credit, it's not easy having two brothers playing professional cricket when it was all of our dreams. But he's been the biggest supporter of us. He's the rock, I guess, for me. If I'm going through hard times or I need a slap across the wrist, because, as all younger siblings do, he's the one to be there. And he's made a really great life for himself now in Melbourne. And yeah, I feel for him sometimes because he was a good player, but I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles. And he's really really doing well in his space now, and I think that period of cricket is over. But no, he loved it, and he was a superstar back when he was younger.
Oh, that's good.
Now, currently, aside from cricket here and there is the big event going on at the moment is the Women's World Cup. Have you been tuning in? Have you been watching what's going on?
Yeah, I've been flicking between that and the WNCL. Obviously, I said I have a really supportive girlfriend here, so I've been. She plays in the women's cricket side for South Australia, so I've been flicking in between both. Yeah, go Emma. But I have been watching it, and they've been doing so well. The women's cricket team has been at the pinnacle of sporting teams, I guess, for quite some time now. They reached that accolade of, I think it was 24 wins in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong, which is the most by any sporting team over a period of time, and they've gone out there this season and they've done amazing over there. And doing Australia proud. And you just see some of the firepower with Ash Gardner making that 40 off 18 balls the other day, and Elise Perry coming into her own again and doing so well. It's really been a pleasure to watch, actually.
Yeah.
And Emma as well, sorry, she's had a great season so far with that, couple of 50s, and I think she made 90 something. Yeah, she's had a fantastic season. That must make you proud.
Oh, it definitely does. I've never met a harder working athlete in my life. She plays 2 sports at the highest level and studies full time, and then has time to deal with my antics. So it's amazing how well she does, and she's been through some tough periods. Obviously juggling dual sports, and to go out there and to make 250s and 90 when her spot wasn't really solidified at the start of the season is something that I'm extremely proud of. And she's the most humble person in the world. You'll say well done, she'll just say no. And it's so good to see her doing well, and I know deep down she's proud of herself, and yeah, I'm very proud of her and the way she's going.
That's good. Hopefully she chooses cricket over field hockey, but she has a great career in field. So
yeah, we'll whichever one she chooses, I'll support her in either one.
Yeah.
Do you have a WNCL or World Cup final prediction at the moment? Who do you think's going to get that one?
Well, it's a hard one because you got the Scorpions girls need to win today with a bonus point, I think, to get over the line, and they're playing now, and I don't want to look at the scores because I know Emma's probably batting, so very nervous. But I don't have a prediction, but I hope the girls can go all the way. The South Australian cricket can cop a bit of stick sometimes, but what the men probably haven't achieved, and then the girls are really holding their own and doing really well, so it's a credit to them. Yeah. And then the World Cup prediction, I think it's hard to go past Australia at the moment. I think they're undefeated at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're undefeated. Their athleticism and ability in the field probably stands out the most. You see any superstar catch, and it's from someone in the Australian cricket team, and they've got cattle in the ranks that haven't even played yet that are superstars. So I think they're going to be tough to beat when they're on, and they're on at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's such a thing. It's such a it shows the depth really in South Australian cricket. Is Talia McGrath, Amanda Wellington, Megan Shute, and Darcy Brown are all in that squad. So South Australia are missing them, yet they're still doing so well. And you've had people like Emma and Kate Peterson also, who have all had to kind of step up to a role that maybe they wouldn't have had in the past. But they've all really been able to prove themselves.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing though. It's a good thing for both parties. For the people who aren't or are pushing for a spot, who haven't solidified it, to then have Australian players to learn from, and then on the other hand, to have the Australian players look back and go, geez, these girls are really gunning for my spot, makes them go better. So it's a progressive development in that squad at the moment, and yeah, it's just really good to see young South Australians doing well, especially in the women's space. They train really hard and they work really hard and they do a lot of things, and it's a credit to that team and to Luke Williams, the coach, that they're doing so well, even though they're missing probably their core 4 players.
Yeah, 100%. It's good to hear that you're so supportive of the South Australian teams. It's a really good thing to hear. So we like to finish off the interview with a nice little fun couple of questions.
I like this. Great.
All right. So here we go. So 2020 or Test cricket?
2020.
Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
Yes, 100% yes. Best ever.
Oh,
love it.
Morning or night?
Night. Mornings, I struggle. I love a sleep in.
Yeah. Xbox or PS4?
I'm not a gamer at all, but if I was to pick one, I'd probably pick PS4 just because that's what my mates play.
Yeah, good choice. A pie or sausage roll?
Ooh. Do I get a third one? I'd go pasty over everything. But
pasty, okay, yeah.
But I think if I had to choose between, it's a sausage roll. The pies get too messy when you're finical once you get into them. And they're always boiling hot in the middle. I don't know why. You can put it in the fridge for 20 minutes and still bite into it and it'll burn the roof of your mouth.
That is true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess if pasty's not available, so you go sausage roll. That's good.
Yeah, I go snack roll after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit of a winter thing. So AFL or indoor cricket?
Oh, don't do that to me. I go. I'm sorry. I'm an AFL man, but yeah. I know you love your indoor cricket, and I know you're doing really well in that space. So,
thanks, mate.
I'll support you in that, though.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Who do you follow in the AFL?
St Kilda man, passionate St Kilda supporter. Man. I'm a 2-year member this year, and I was in a bit of heartache on Friday night, but we'll bounce back. We'll be okay.
Jared Leanett, who played for Sturt Footy Club and played for Port, he's jumped over to Saints, so hopefully he does well.
Yeah,
don't waste it. So, taking a hat trick or hitting a 6?
Hat trick any day of the week.
Would you rather take a hat trick or hit a 6 to win a game? Would it still be a hat trick?
No, it's still a hat trick.
Yeah. As a bowler, you're more of a hat trick.
As a bowler, that's the dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Playing with or against your brother?
With. Never played with him in the professional setup. I think it'd be an incredible thing to do is to run out with him. Hopefully it can happen in international colours one day. But I think that's the only place I ever will be able to play with him at the professional level. But with.
No, we'll get Ashton over the strikers. That's all good.
Yeah.
Now I know you're a bit of a fan of these. So budgies or board shorts?
Budgies every day of the week.
Budgies every day.
I lost a bit of weight this year, so I haven't been afraid to flaunt the budgie. But budgies all the time. Love budgies. I think I'm wearing some right now. Actually, that's funny.
You can't go wrong with budgies. All right, that's everything. That's good.
That's it. Oh, that's good. Thanks, guys. That was brilliant.
Well,
I hope you enjoyed, and we hope we're giving you something fun during this COVID time.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. It got me out of bed, so I didn't have to sleep in. So I've been sitting out on here. You've been sitting on a vodka can.
I see.
I've been talking to you with you guys propped up on this chair here, so it's been great. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that, and it's always good fun talking to you wherever I see you, whether it's on here or at the ground. So awesome work. Thank you.
Thank you again. We really appreciate your time, and hopefully you're all recovered and all good to go by the end of the week.
Yeah, all good to go. I'm all good. I'll make sure I give you guys a wave and see you guys next season when I see you out there.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Mate,
thanks again, guys.
Oh, that could be close. And given Agar continues his magnificent Big Bash form, and he'll be very happy getting Marnus Labuschagne.
So, Wes, how brilliant.
It was fantastic. And I just love how he said to us, he's just like, you guys have supported me, so it's great to support you doing this. And he's just a kind man. He's
Yeah.
just really kind soul. So it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it was great of him to open up and really tell us about that emotional side, about what it is like to get selected and called up so suddenly, because that's not necessarily a thing you hear in men's cricket. It's quite a hidden side to the mental health kind of side of it. So I think that was really interesting to hear how he opened up to us about how he felt, which is which, you know, it may seem little, but it made all the difference, really.
Yeah, 100%.
So that wraps up this week's episode. Now, next week, we are joined by another guest. We talked to Holly Armitage, who is an English cricketer. So she plays for the Northern Diamonds currently. She captains for a bit as well. And she also plays for the Northern Superchargers in the 100. So, yeah, we also had another great chat with Holly. So that is definitely not one you want to miss. But other than that, that is all for our episode this week. You can get in contact with us on social media and give us a follow over there. Instagram and Twitter is How's That TCP, or you can send us an email at howsthatcricketpodcast@gmail.com. But that is all from me this week.
And that's all from me. Thank you for listening, guys.
How's that?